Hello Magic fans, I'm Beef and welcome back to another Historic Brawl gameplay video, and today we are playing Samut the Driving Force, one of the new legendaries from Aetherdrift. Samut is a returning character, has been in Magic a few times and we've got quite a few of them on Arena and they're always quite powerful, and we have played another Samut Voice of Descent in a Historic deck. As Samut Voice of Descent has a huge amount of keywords, double strike, vision and haste, and we played it in the Soul Flayer Herbal Scavenger type deck to give Soul Flayer Herbal Scavenger some pretty good keywords. So this Samut is a 6 mana 4/5 with First Strike, Vigilance and Haste, and those are some very good keywords. 4/5 is not the best for 6 mana, but obviously with First Strike and Vigilance you can attack quite often, and if we have ways to buff Samut's power, even better. She also has Start Your Engines. Basically, when you play a Start Your Engine cards, if you don't have any speed, you go to 1 speed, and the first time an opponent loses life on your turn, you go up 1 speed to a maximum of 4. And Samut's actually one of, I think, only maybe 2 or 3 cards in Aetherdrift which have Start Your Engines and have speed related shenanigans, but it's not just reliant on having max speed. So Samut gives other creatures you control plus X+0, where X is your speed, and non-creature spells you cast cost X less to cast, where X is your speed. So its flaw is, if you play Samut without having started your engines before, all other creatures get +1/+0, and non-creature spells we cast cost 1 less to cast, and because Samut has haste, often you're able to crack in and get up to 2 speed, or increase your speed by 1 at the same turn Samut comes down. Because of Start Your Engines, we do have quite a few Start Your Engines cards. Not all of them we can play. We have only gone for some really good ones. So at the 1 mana slot, we have Nesting Bot and Burnout Bastionaut. We've played Burnout Bastionaut on the channel before in a Goblin deck. Really powerful. 1 mana, 1/1 with Menace. Nesting Bot also has Start Your Engines, and when it dies, it leaves behind a 1/1 Server Artifact token. Hazaret, Godseeker. One of the gods in Aetherdrift, 2 mana 5/3, indestructible haste, but can only attack or block if we have max speed, but it can make other target creatures with power 2 or less unblockable. Outpace Oblivion, comes down, deals 5 to up to the top 1 target creature or planeswalker, and then we can pay 2 to sack it. It deals 2 damage each player who doesn't have max speed. So hopefully that won't include us, but if it does, it's 2 damage. But if we obviously cast it, if we sack it on our turn, we can increase our speed by 1, and then starting column, a 3 mana rock that adds 1 mana of any colour, and if we have max speed we can tap in and sack it, draw 2, discard a card. So a good way to draw extra cards. Now, because Samut is 6 mana, we do have a lot of ramp. In fact, pretty much all of it. The new Chrome Mox, we're not playing Mox Amber because we don't have many other cheap legendaries, so having it just to be ramped when Samut's down I think's not very worth it. But then we have all like pretty much the 1 mana creatures. Arboreal Grazer and Kami of Bamboo Grooves can put extra land in play as opposed to tapping for mana. And what's really good with all these mana dorks is, with Samut, you know, having a 1 mana 1/1 Nanowar Elves become a 1 mana 5/1 with Samut down is pretty powerful. We also have Chromatic Lantern, because it's a 3-colour deck, just smooths out a mana. We have both Flare of Cultivation and Cultivate, because, yeah, we might want to sack an Arboreal Grazer or Kami of Bamboo Groves after it's done its job with Flare of Cultivation. Sky Clay Relic, Overlord of the Hauntwoods, Mariah's Wake, obviously a really powerful card, and Awaken the Woods. Awaken the Woods is also part of our other plan of going wide, because, you know, if we can go wide and have everything be 5/1s, then that's incredibly powerful as well in Axe's ramp. Speaking of going wide, we have some token generators. Adeline can just create a token when we attack. Rousing can create a huge amount of tokens and let us play something for free. Secure the Wastes, Song of Totem Zant are 1 and an X to create X 1/1 tokens. Finale of Glory, 2 and an X, and create X 2/2 White Soldier creature tokens. If X is 10 or more, we also create X 4/4 White Angel creature tokens, which obviously absolutely bonkers. And because of the mana reduction from Samut. That's not particularly hard to do. And then March of the Multitudes, we can cast at instant speed. It has Convoke, and we create X/1/1 white soldier creature tokens with lifelink. That lifelink can be quite powerful as well. Next on, we just have some interaction. We don't have a huge amount, but we do have some of the usual suspects. Path to Exile, Swords of Plowshares, Lightning Bolt, Reprieve, because it helps us draw a card, and basically acts as a pseudo counterspell. Stump Stomp can be a land, or it can be a bite effect, and a Stroke of Midnight can take care of any non-land permanent, but its controller does get a 1/1 token. Next up, we have some ways to give Samut trample, because one of the big problems with Samut is it doesn't have trample, and they can just chump as much as they want. So Audacity, Demonic Ruckus both give Samut trample. Demonic Ruckus also gives it menace, and both of them, when they leave the battlefield, we draw a card. Garruk's Uprising gives all our creatures trample, which, you know, if we've got, say, a 5/1 Llanowar Elves or one of our Mana Dorks, that can be really useful as well. And when it enters, if we control a creature with power 4 or greater, we draw a card. And then whenever a creature we control with power 4 enters, we draw a card. And obviously Samut has power 4 or greater, has power 4. So this is really, really useful. In all the 20 to 30 games I played, didn't see this card once, which is always frustrating. Next up, we have some card draw, because one of the weaknesses of this deck is if we draw too much ramp too early, which is a weird thing to say, or we don't draw the right cards, we can just have a Samut and some Mana Dorks lying around. So we do want ways to draw cards. Esper Sentinel, we can draw a card whenever our opponent plays their first non-creature spell each turn, unless they play X, which is where Esper Sentinel, X is Esper Sentinel's power. Hellfunder just comes down, draw a card. Up the Beanstalk, we all know. Tome of Legends, because Samut has haste, it's really powerful because we'll get a counter on it when Samut enters and attacks him at the same turn. Guardian Project, Toski, and then the One Ring. And because the One Ring is a non-creature spell, you can actually play it for potentially free if we have Samut down. Next up, we have some general other good stuff. Ragavan, because we're playing a red deck. Flower of the White Tree is a great way to buff Samut. Heroic Intervention to act as protection. Swiftfoot Boots, obviously Samut already has haste, but giving it Hex Boost is really powerful. Rise of a Day to give all our other tokens haste and to buff Samut. Bala Gate Recovery, just as a land, or to get back a card from our graveyard. Fondus Velocipede is another new card. A 3-mana 5/5 trample vehicle, and each other vehicle and creature we control enters with an additional +1/+1 counter on it if its mana value is 4 or less. So basically all our tokens will get a +1/+1 counter on them. Otherwise it enters with 3 additional +1/+1 counters on it. So if we have this down and play Samut, Samut will come down with 3 +1/+1 counters. Cabaretti Revels, whenever we cast a creature spell, we seek a creature card with less mana value, put it onto the battlefield. You probably could remove this one and play something else. Again, I don't think I ever actually drew this in all the games I played, which was kind of annoying. But it does let us go wide by getting all our Mana Dorks. We don't actually have a huge number of creatures which are more than 1 mana and less than Samut, but whenever we cast them, or whenever we do cast those creatures, like Overlord of the Hauntwoods, we will trigger it. Rhythm the Wild, creature spells we control can't be countered, which is always good, and non-token creatures we control have Riot. Basically, we get a choice of +1/+1 counter or haste, and obviously giving some an additional counter is really, really powerful. War Leader's cool, just buff our entire board, and when a creature we control enters, it pings our opponent. Wolf Leaf Liege, 4 mana 4/4. Other green creatures we control get +1/+1. Other white creatures we control get +1/+1. So Samut will get +2/+2, and then we can put it on the battlefield free if our opponent causes us to discard it. But that very rarely happens in Brawl. We have the other Samut, which I went through earlier. Immortal Sun, we don't have any Planeswalkers, so this doesn't affect us at all, and its cost is reduced by Samut. Turn Timber Symbiosis, probably play it as a land, but sometimes it can rip through a deck and get something on the battlefield. And again, the Great Henge with Samut is probably going to cost 2 at most. And then we have our finishers. Jetmir, 4 mana 5/4. Creatures we control get +1/+1 on Vigilance as long as we control 3 or more creatures. Creatures we control get +1/+0 and have Trample as long as we control 6 or more creatures, and they get +1/+0 and have Double Strike as long as we control 9 or more creatures. And they're cumulative. So if we have 9 or more creatures, all our creatures get +3/+0, Vigilance, Trample, and Double Strike. So a great way to finish. Then we have Full Throttle, a 6 mana sorcery, also from Aether Drift. After this main phase, there's 2 additional combat phases. At the beginning of each combat phase, untapable creatures that attack with turn. So again, we can cast this for 2 red if we're max speed of Samut, and then we can just smash in 2 more times. And then another card which I've been wanting to play since Aether Drift came out, and I'm actually going to play it in standard, I think, this coming week. March of the World Ooze, 6 mana, but because it's a non-creature, obviously that is reduced by Samut down to potentially just 3 green. Creatures we control have base power and toughness 6/6 and are oozes in addition to the other types. So all our mana dorks are now 6/6s, as well as the buff from Samut. Samut himself is 6/6, and it also has, whenever opponent casts a spell, if it's not their turn, we create a 3/3 green elephant creature token, which will obviously be a 6/6. Although if that spell is to remove the march on our turn, we get a 3/3 and it will be a 3/3. So this is quite a good one. Just, you know, if we've got a wide ball, suddenly they're all 6/6s being buffed by Samut, and that's often enough just to win the game. Mana base, as you'd expect, nothing fancy in there. We do have Jetamir's Garden to accompany Jetamir himself. We do have, I think, 38 lands. We have so much ramp. We do have less than 40. There's not going to be a wrap up because I don't generally do those on Brawl videos, but this deck is really powerful when it gets going. The amount of 1-mana 1/1s we have, and we just never seem to draw them. Like, as I said, I don't think I actually drew a Boreal Grazer once in all the games I played, and I played a lot. The same with Garruk's Uprising and a few other cards, just never saw, and that's weird. When you can play some on turn 3 or 4, it's fantastic. Or even on turn 5, it's really, really good. But sometimes you have those games where you can ramp out or your opponent removes the ramp creatures, and it's just kind of annoying. But it is a really powerful card, a really fun card to play as well. I said one of the only cards that does things with speed that's not related to max speed. And say buffing up your lateral elves for 5/1 and getting a 4-mana red cost reduction to your spells is really, really powerful. So had a great time playing this. Played a huge amount of games of it, which I don't really play that many with Brawl. I do usually play 10. Don't know how many exactly I've played, but I think it's around 30. So I enjoy it that much to play that many games. So hope you'll all enjoy it too, and I'll see you all in the gameplay. Our opponent goes first. We have a decent amount of ramp. I want red-green stomping ground. Well, that's up the beanstalk, and then let's Bastronaut to start our engines. That's going to be an issue. And let's get a Temple Garden. Get in the Halfling. Briar is an artifact. We'll take out Briar. Wow. Oh, and I think we secure the wastes at the end of their turn. Yeah, there's Briar again. Briar herself being an artifact is a massive issue. One, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, why did I double block one? That was just stupid on my part. One, 2, 5, 7. So we can do this for 4, I think. That's probably enough. Yeah. Yeah, a bit of a punt, double blocking a 13-13 and not blocking the other one. Don't know why I did that. But yeah, Jetamir and that March of the Multitudes got us there in the end. No ramp, no keep. Okay, this is not great. We need to carry on ramping. All good. Let's go white sauce. They're down to 12. I think we can march for 6. Which should be enough, I think, to get us to lethal. Or maybe not. Yep, it is. Actually, yeah, more than enough. Oh, we go first with a quite impressively bad hand. We're going to have to keep this. We have so many 1-drops, and we never seem to have many of them at all in our opening hand. But they're going to be ramping hard, or going hard, going wide with elves. Let's go green-white. Don't need more lands. Let's Cold Steel Heart on red, I suppose. And then we can hold up Stroke of Midnight. Let's Samut. Next turn we can Immortal Sun. Let's get Toski. I actually don't want to get rid of Jetmir. Now they do have trample. Yeah, our opponent scoops. How much can we block without losing anything? We can block the Thorn Lieutenant and Lanoir Visionary, and then we take 8, 11, 13. So, yeah, we're fine. And then we swing out. We get 5 more, which means we get Toski and everything will then have double strike. How can we have so many 1-drops and never actually get them in our opening hand? We will surveil. Yeah, we'll keep that. Let's just get a mountain. We'll explore. And we'll just get another mountain and plot the ruckus. Well, let's play out the relic. The birds. And the land. Right. Okay. Are they just a slime against humanity deck? Yeah, it does look like that, doesn't it? Uh, I think we just swing out. And yeah, our opponent scoops. We've got Hazoret, both Samuts on defense, which you have in first strike, and indestructible in Hazoret's case is quite powerful. Well, we do have some ramp. We'll just play out Jetamir's Garden. Turn 2, we can explore. Would like a bit more ramp. Although we do have Awaken the Woods. And let's just play out the Burn Willow clearing. Next turn we can Awaken the Woods for 2. Then in the turn after we can Samut. We'll crack this then and just get Forest. Let's go Temple Garden. They can play out... I'll say they could play out Winter, but they're not. Well, we will Samut. And then we'll shock in so we can Audacity to give our Samut trample. And yeah, I think we go face. And next turn we can march. Well, we do get a ramp, that's fine, and we draw with Audacity. Let's fetch a Sacred Foundry. So I'd like to leave a red untapped. And I'll take out Wren. And next turn, we can hopefully March of the Wild Ooze and Jetmir. That's irritating. Well, Chrome Mox and a Balaged Recovery, and then March, Jetmir, swing in. We do have lethal. Don't need more lands. And yeah, our opponent needs something. I believe we can recast Samut if they kill it. Oh, we might be one short. Yeah, we are. So we need a land, basically. If they have removal, we do get an elephant. I don't know why it's an elephant. We are now a few turns away from being able to replay Samut. Yeah, so they just go straight to reanimate. That's a chunky Lumra. it having vigilance is a bit of an issue as well. But we do have 3 6/6s. So they need another sweeper, which being in black is obviously very possible. I think we wait. The Bashanaut having Menace would be, it was obviously pretty good for us. Would have liked Swords of Plowshares. That's not... Well, if they take out our march, we are in serious trouble. Yeah, okay. Well, that was frustrating. Well, this is a mulligan. I just don't understand how we draw so few of our 1 mana, or any of our ramp cards. It is absolutely ridiculous. Well, there is one. We'll put this on green. We'll play out a helpful hunter. I'm not sure it's that secret, is it? It's going to be 6. Okay. I'd be very surprised if their second Ominous Lockbox wasn't on 6. Seeing as that's our commander's cost. But I'd rather they have a Samut as opposed to a March of the World Ooze. We get a forest. I'm going to dash Ragavan. We will destroy their Ominous Lockbox. And I'll create a treasure. And if they do replay breaches, we can lightning bolt it. That Prismara command, pretty lucky. Well, let us just submit then. Let's Audacity on Samut. Give it trample. And yeah, we can hold up lightning bolt. Well, I will just take out Crom. Yeah. We play the March. Luckily we put Coastal Heart on green, otherwise we wouldn't be able to play it. And we can dash a Ragavan. So we have, well, Kami and Ragavan are both going to be 9 1s and then 10 1s when Samut hits in with first strike.